All right. You should go ahead and introduce yourself.
Okay. I'm Jason Watts. Been at Sac Metro Fire since 2000. Worked on, had 7 years on the medic. The rest of my time has been spent on the heavy rescue, on at Rescue 21 for the last 13 years, I guess.
Okay. And firefighter, right? Still?
Firefighter, yes.
Okay. Uh, how? Tell me about your journey up to this point at Metro Fire.
So started off, weird way to enter. I was working part-time for Dry Creek and for multiple agencies in Placer County. So I had an opportunity when American River was going to merge or take over Dry Creek. And so they had American River put on a written engineer's exam. And then what followed out of the 6 that passed that, out of everybody that passed the written, they would go on to manipulative at the Rosa Tower. So we all went through that. I got somewhere in the top 6. So that allowed me to go to the Sac Regional Academy, Sac City Tower, which was kind of nice. It was the last tower actually held in the wooden tower there. So it was interesting. So that's how I got in with Metro Fire. Since then, I've had some really amazing captains that have pushed me and put me out in that uncomfortable zone, and I started instructing from there. And building off of that, we got into some other classes, and I think we've created some good content that hopefully will stick around the department for a while, and somebody else will pick it up and run with it. So yeah, so that's kind of been it. That's been it. It's been an amazing career. The best job in the world, seriously.
Is it what you thought you'd be doing?
No. You mean today?
No. As far as you've been on the rescue, I think, as long as I can remember.
Yeah, it's 07. I got on there in 07. First bit off the medic. How about that? Yeah, I didn't see myself here. I mean, I knew what I always wanted to do. I grew up in the fire service. My dad worked for Roseville Fire. So I've been around it. I've been exposed to it. I knew this is what I wanted to do. So I'm actually living a dream. There was no other career choice or alternative that I had in mind. This was it. So yeah, I think I am absolutely content with my career. Like what I've achieved, what other people have helped me achieve. Like it's been amazing and great for my family.
Yeah. Speaking of that, why don't you tell me about your family a little bit?
Family, we've been married since we've been married since 01. Yeah, so yeah, it's been a while. It's been great. And we have 2 kids, 2 daughters. They've recently moved out, so it's a new experience for us being in the house alone. And so that's the family. Like a lot of camping, a lot of outdoor activities. We, sit at the table and eat dinner. Like we've really tried to create a family environment, not just everybody's on their free for all around here. So, and it's good for me. It's good for my wife. So, yeah, that's the family.
Okay. How are they with your job? Or do you know?
I don't know. It's nothing I don't talk to them about it so much. I'll talk with my wife a little bit. It's not usually calls though. It's like the aftermath of, or something like that happened during, but not the actual incident. So I'm sure they worry. You get these, news alerts that something's blowing up, and of course all the concerns about us, at work. And so, yeah, I get, text messages and from the girls for sure. But I think they see the value in it too. I really do. I mean, there's some difficult times working in this field, but I think for the most part, it's a great environment for them to be around growing up. So yeah, I'm sure they do worry, but it's not something I've ever talked about.
Okay. All right. So throughout your career, I mean, you've been at 21 your whole career, right?
Most of it, yeah. 17 on the. I got in there on the rescue in '07. I spent 2 years on the medic before that.
Okay.
So yeah, quite
That's a
some
busy
time.
spot, obviously.
Yeah.
Um, do you ever have calls that just bugged you going throughout your career?
Sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's been several, and the ones that are really vivid and the ones that I've had to get help for. It just wasn't something I was able to do on my own. First one was in 2011. Um, Early morning fire. Um, Ended up getting out there. 23 NS, truck 23 NS. We arrived almost on top of each other. 23 had the lead. So they're going to the roof. We did a reverse split. We were to go to the roof with 23 and assist. So you've got Bob Bruce and Jeff Wells up on the roof, and then I'm up on the roof, and this is this is where it gets kind of muddy for me. As far as clarity goes, I know I made the roof, and I was standing at the ladder. What I don't know, and it doesn't sound like me to just go walking by myself. These guys are already up on the roof. What I do remember is Bob pointing to the ridge, and so I made my way over to the ridge and I put a hole in there. He came over to louver it. While that was taking place, I'm looking around, seeing what's happening up on the roof, and I notice Jeff is no longer out there. And huge column, I mean pressurized square column, like coming straight up. And then some of the flames started rolling out. Of course, I get a hold of Bob, tell him, he punches out a mayday. I get off the roof, and my captain and the rest of the crew that's inside, they came out, met me on the front lawn. Well involved garage fire. Garage door still shut. I mean, this is early in the incident. It's an early morning fire. So my best guess is that there's got to be a man door to this garage, and he's in the garage. So we make it around. We got to force the gate on the side. I start working on the man door with my shoulder, and my captain, Tom Neville, was with me, and so he's into me, and I'm going into the door, and we're trying to get this thing open. What happened when he fell through? They had overhead storage, and so all that stuff came down, and it basically dispersed and blocked that man door from opening up. And so as we're getting an inch here, it's just small victories trying to get this door open, but we keep pushing. The other guys from Engine 21 and Medic 21, they pushed in through the garage. They opened it up, crawled through, made it to them, pushed them over to us, and we were able to get them through the man door and get them out. And then we took all of his gear off. And I remember taking my gloves off, thinking it's going to make it faster. And I started going after those clasps, and I had blisters on my. They were so hot. Take his viber alert off, and it starts vibrating. Like that's where we were in this incident. He was in there fighting, and he was just blowing through all of his air. So that one, I felt over the years that was my fault, and that could have been absolutely prevented by being a distraction. That's kind of how I looked at it. So I ignored Jeff and Bob, and I would not engage with them for the rest of their career. And I just had this overwhelming guilt, and I assume that they felt the same way about that call, about me. So yeah, we went camping. This was November 22. We're camping, and my old co-worker Mike Daw, he's out there camping with us, and we have a discussion the day before we leave. to come back home. And he's sitting in our RV, and he must have saw something. And I don't know what he saw, but he saw something that he felt that he had to share his story with me. Probably in order for me to, reach out and get some help. And so this, this is a while ago. So it took me a bit. I got a hold of Melissa, and I started seeing her regularly, and she helped me work through a lot of that. One of the things I just couldn't figure out was the feeling I get when I think about that call, and the emotions that come with that. I just couldn't put my finger on it. I wasn't angry. I wasn't sad. It was just all these weird emotions, and I can't remember the last time I ever felt anything like that. So we worked through it, and over a few months, we get down to most likely what this is, and because your brain, it'll turn whatever memory or whatever thoughts you have into reality, and it is crazy. And that's what I did at some point in that 11 years. I switched it over to Jeff's dead. It's my fault, and his son and his wife. So it was tough. So get through that, and it was that grieving feeling, and that's basically what it was. And it was crazy. It was just crazy. Things were out of whack. I didn't understand why, and she definitely helped me work through it. Now, I say that I'm able to talk about it a little bit, but I wasn't able to get those words out at all. I couldn't talk about it. I'd be very emotional, and I physically couldn't get the words out. So we worked through that one. There's a few other incidents that we talked about, but this one was the big one for me. So with her encouragement, I knew what I had to do, and that was to reach out to these guys and actually talk to them and just air stuff out, So I called Jeff, and we had a long conversation, and all the things I was thinking, not even close. They, no hard feelings. So that still spins around in my head quite a bit, even though I know what the reality is, it's still difficult to deal with. And then, I made the phone call to Bob, and thankfully I did when I did. He didn't tell me he was sick, and he passed the next month.
Wow.
So we had some really good conversations, and he took any question that I had that they felt a certain way. Both of those guys, they crushed that. They're like, no, that's not how it went down. It's not. And these are all the possibilities that could have happened. If it didn't go down that way, 2 of us are in the hole, or 3 of us are in, and we probably wouldn't have the same outcome. Mm-hmm. So it's a different perspective. I appreciate that outlook way more than I do the other one. You can wrap your head around that one. So that was one. And the other one that really dug at me a little bit was September 23, early morning fire, apartment fire, like an 8-plex, and it's well old. I mean, all the windows, it's blowing out. Small, tiny apartment. We clear the one next to it, and then the captain and I forced the door and got down, and it was 0 vis and pretty darn warm in there. And we get down, I do left, he goes right. I find the bedroom or a bathroom. I find a washer and dryer. I get called. I hear my name being called, and so I come off the wall. I try to hear and we make contact in the hallway, which was, I guess, more of the family room. And I went back to where I thought I was, and I hit the wall. Started following it. And I did circles in this place, and I could not find a bedroom. Monty was having a difficult time. We're probably in there for 2-3 minutes on our own, and we cannot locate this bedroom in maybe a 700 square foot apartment. Now more people are coming in, more crews, and now we get that stack up in the hallway and the entryway. And now there's a hose line in there, and now you're bumping into people. You can't really follow the wall. You can't feel for door jams or anything. Still zero vis. So about 6 minutes into that, some other members located the bedroom, grabbed the victim, took her out. Unfortunately, I don't think she made it through the transport. But that, there was a lot of things that I've thought about since then. I went into that apartment adjacent to it, opposite layout, completely opposite layout. Bedrooms were in the back. And I can see why I was trying to get to the back where Monty was so bad. Like, I knew that, like, for some reason, that's where the bedroom is. And it just wasn't. It was, these were not mirrored. They're opposite. So I think that put a wrench in how I normally map out and do my thing, on searches. And so the hard part about that for me was that I injured my arm in November of that year, and I've been off work since. So I never had that opportunity to redeem myself, if I will, if you will, or take some of those other skills that you knew, but sometimes you just drop them and you don't use all those skills that you have. And so I really wanted to do it. I just wanted to have another fire and be able to just build that confidence back up. Like it really, messed with me pretty good. So those are the, there's some others, but that's generally speaking. Those are the ones that bother me the most.
Yeah.
That started ramping me up to where it was putting me in a bad place, and I didn't realize it, obviously. Mm-hmm. I think because the amount of time that had gone by, there was nothing you could put your finger on. Everything was just kind of blending together. Behavior was changing. My emotions were changing. And I know, my wife could see it. I'm sure my kids could see it. And I thought I was keeping everything in check, but things were going sideways, and I just couldn't figure it out. So we'll fast forward to let's go with October of 24. And I noticed at that point, so I've got this arm injury. I've torn some extensor tendons. I've been in treatment for and seen doctors and specialists for 15 months at this point. No change. Like, there's nothing. And the process of work comp is so slow. And it's just so stressful. And you can't get anywhere. It's so frustrating. So that's where I'm at, in my life. I'm dealing with this injury now. I've got some of this other stuff that doesn't really go away. It lingers. And not seeing the light at the end of the tunnel for the arm. Like I thought, everybody told me, hey, 3 months you'll be back on. Okay, well, 3 months goes away. They're like, it can take up to a year to heal. Okay, see another specialist. Well, it can take up to 2 years. Okay, all right. So, and we're pushing on the 2-year mark. So I don't see a difference in the arm. My return to work thing is really going away at this point. I don't see a good result at the end of this as far as my arm regaining the strength or just the ability to hold on to anything for a while. So I'm again spinning up on this, right? I'm kind of spinning out of control, thinking about this stuff, and it got to a point, you're doing 2 to 6 appointments a week, and you're doing that for 2 years, and every specialist says something different. And you get lost. You just lost in the mix, and you definitely lose all hope, like I did. And it came out in a different way. October, wife and I went on a trip up to Tahoe, and I just could not get any peace. Like, I had shit rolling through my head 24/7, turned into anger. Like, cut the trip short, come home type of stuff. Um, my driving was reckless at best. I was in a bad place. So I struggle through that, thinking that this is going to change tomorrow, and basically isolating myself 12 to 16 hours a day in my room. Uncontrollable body temp. I'm either sweating or I'm freezing. Gut would start turning, start sweating, and then the mind just goes crazy. Shakiness, that came on. Uncontrolled emotions. I'm either like extremely angry, or I can't stop crying for any reason. And it could be out of nowhere. Like, just driving my truck, doing my normal thing, and it just, something hits, and it's unexplainable. So, I'm dealing with this for probably about 4 months. Blood pressure's out of control. I go to the ER. It's 230/126. And I'm like, what is going on with me? What the hell is going on? So we got it back down. And just other things started coming. I started losing my vision. Ocular migraines were associated with this. So my vision would just start to close out, one eye or the other, or never both at the same time. Started having that. Started having intestinal issues, gut issues. They diagnosed me with celiac disease. This is all within a month. So things aren't looking good, right? I keep on auguring in even further. Like, no good news. Nothing has been good news so far. So I deal with that. I'm trying to deal with that, right? And I'm not dealing with it. My relationship with my wife's not in a good place. I think I'm losing my mind. I think I'm crazy. And she probably thinks that I could snap my finger and change my attitude. And I just couldn't. As much as I wanted to, I couldn't. I could not.
Yeah.
I just couldn't. So I'm in this, dark place, and I just can't get out of it. The only thing that I can do is lay in bed all day and hope to sleep during the night. And tomorrow is different. And tomorrow was never different. Tomorrow was never different. It's always the same shit. So, so one of those days in March, I went. We have an RV on the side of the house, and I was just like, I don't know what's going on with me. I need to get out of here. So I go in the RV, and I'm just laid down in the bed in there, and my wife comes in, and I'm just bawling. I have no control. I have no idea what the hell's going on. Oh. So she comes in, and she's like, "What is going on with you?" I said, "I have no idea. No idea." So she's like, "You need to get help." I'm like, "Yeah, I do. So she really encouraged me to call. So I made that phone call to HR, and I basically told Candace, like, "Hey, I need help. I've been seeing somebody for a while. That's not working. Like, I need something now." And I got to tell you, from there, things got a little bit better. And I think just saying that I needed help was a little bit like, maybe there's going to be some hope. Maybe things will start happening. And then, of course, being in contact with you guys reached out. And I mainly worked with Polis, and I had no idea how beneficial that was. Like, it really, to know that there's somebody else, whether they've experienced this or not, they know what the next step is, and they know how to get you there. Because I was unfamiliar with all this. I would have never called it PTSD. Not in a million years. I was going crazy. That's what I really believed. You connect all the dots now, and you look at my medical history in the last couple years, and you're like, yeah, no, the dots, they do. Everything lines up, but I just couldn't. I couldn't put it together. Focus, no concentration, motivation's down. Can't take deep respirations, heart rate's out of control. Just crazy. It's just adrenaline dumps for 24/7 for months. And I just had zero control. It was quite crazy. Anyways, back to the peer support guys, man. They, not a call I thought I'd ever make, ever. Or ever need to talk with anybody like that. Like, I thought I had everything in control. So, I had met with somebody from another agency that I opened up to, and he in return opened up and told me his story, and he told me about his treatment and where he went. And I'd had this in the back of my head, like, where do you go? What's the best place? I'm not settling for average. I want the best of it. I need to get better. So he told me about a neurofeedback place up in Reading. And what was attractive to me when he was talking about it, it's not a group setting and you don't have to tell your story. Because at that time, I wasn't able to. I just wasn't.
Yeah.
I couldn't get the words out. So with the hard work from you guys, and I'm sure on the back end, that was a nightmare to get someone up to a facility that's never been, we haven't used them yet. So we'll move forward to, I'm driving up there, and I can't tell you how excited I am to be there. Like, I want to get there yesterday. I get up there. The process was painless. I was extremely comfortable in there, and the staff was amazing. Like, there was no hesitation for me at all. I just trusted the process. I knew I had to open up and be vulnerable, way more vulnerable than I have been, in my life. And got up there. They basically told me what the process is. I was like, all right, well, let's get down to it. So they brain mapped me, and they identified what's functioning and what's not functioning so well. And then they came up out of the thousands of protocols that match that, how my brain was presenting things that will actually generate these lobes to fire off again and start getting blood flow up there and start activating. So that's what I did for 14 days. It was start the day off with neuro field, which is basically disrupting your neurons. And then you go into neurofeedback, and that's 2 hours. And then a one-on-one session with a counselor. You can talk or you don't have to talk. And then there's lunch, and then back to neurofield for 2 hours. And so you're getting 4 hours a day. And I'd say by day 3, I'm like, I completely feel different at this point. And in one of those group sessions, or one of the one-on-one sessions, I asked her, do you mind if I kind of start talking? Like, and I just let it out, man. And I'd never been able to talk about it like I did there. After having the treatment that I was having, I was able to just really go into depth on things that I hadn't had the ability to do prior. And so we get through that. I'd say by day 10, I'm like, I can't feel any better. Like, this is amazing. I could go home now. And of course, that's not the case. I just was so much better than I was before I got up there.
Right.
That it was so noticeable. I was so happy with it. But yeah, no, finished out the 14 days. And I felt great. I'm not going to say every day is great. They're not. I have to be mindful. I've got to, I've got to you got to control your thoughts. And for me, that is, I do that quite a bit during the day, try to put some positive stuff back in there, and that's been working for me. So it's been great. It's been great. I still have the shake stuff. I'm pretty shaky. And the hot and cold thing, seems to me like it's going away. I'm not drenching the sheets or my shirt anymore. Like that's not happening. So those are some really good things for me. Blood pressure's down. I took it 109 over 66 or something. Like it's completely different. Completely different. So yeah, motivation focus basically is what I'm trying to regain right now, and get rid of the shakes. But that's where it's at. So I'm planning on going back up there. I put a request in. Hopefully that happens. For the amount of, from what I understand and what she's told me, for the amount of time that you basically have been in this career, there's a range that they would like to get you up there for. And 2 weeks was short for me. And so she said 3 weeks is what we normally start people off with 30 years. And so I don't think I got the full experience. And so that's why I'd like to go back up there and just kind of clean up some of this other stuff that's going on.
Was that a workers' comp? Why did you come back after 2 weeks?
It was comp.
Comp, gotcha.
Yeah. So, I mean, from my understanding,
Okay.
I was in a weird different place then, but from what I understand, it started off at 6 just to get me up there because the claim freed up 10,000, and that's what 10,000 got me, was 6 days.
Gotcha.
And then they had to do their investigation for it to get approved in order to fund the rest. And that's where it landed at 2 weeks, 14 days. So, yeah, I'd love to get back up there and maybe get that other week or maybe a 2 week in there. The difference that it made in my life and my family's life is it's not even a question. Like, so noticeable. Talking to people I haven't talked to on the phone in a while. In fact, Candace called the other day and I talked to her. She's like, I can't believe how happy you sound. I'm like, yeah, it's pretty amazing.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's been good.
Well, you went through a lot of stuff. I skipped over most of my questions, which is fine. I'm going to let you talk while you're talking.
No, what do you got?
Back up a little bit. After the call with Jeff and Bruce, did your family notice anything? Did they bring anything up? Did your wife say, "Hey, are you okay?" Or that kind of stuff?
Yeah, we've been communicating really well since there was a plan. Before I didn't know what was going on, but with the help of Melissa and kind of guiding me through stuff, and we did talk about it. And she is always asking, if everything's okay. And what's crazy to me, like I can't really give her an answer back then. I just couldn't. I could not. I just couldn't.
Yeah.
And so we came up with with the help of Melissa, we came up with some other ways to start our days. And it's usually with a question like, hey, where are you at? Give me a number. And that's kind of how we judged our day. And if it changed, we'd be honest with each other. And I would tell her if it changed.
Yeah.
And so that was good. And that kind of put us on the same playing field as far as like, she is not going to get blindsided by what she's waking up to. She's going to know, and either I'm leaving and I need to blow off some steam, or she needs to, type of thing. And that was beneficial for us. I really do think so. So yeah, no, she's been all over it.
Good.
As far as extremely supportive.
Good.
Yeah.
How hard was it to call Melissa first time?
It took me about 3 weeks.
Okay.
And again, a push from my wife.
Yeah.
Like you need to do it.
Yeah.
So, and I got to tell you, the first 3 sessions with her were wasted sessions. I'm like trying to analyze her, figuring she's doing the same thing to me. Like it was just so unproductive. And I would drive home so upset And the last time that happened, I was like, I'm an idiot. What? Why am I'm holding back. So I'm not giving her anything to work with. Of
Yeah.
course. Yeah. What? So from there, you know, there's a trust factor,
Yeah.
you know, obviously. And she's pretty amazing. For me, her perspective on things are different than other people I've spoke with, you know, to try to get through, or how the angle that she looks at it, whatever incident that is. And it kind of puts you to peace a little bit. Like it's good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
She's been amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. She really got me out of a bad place back then and encouraged me to do some pretty amazing things. But yeah, that was tough. You know, those phone calls were tough to make. Yeah, absolutely.
Any of your crew, you've been off for a while, so has your crew been in touch, I assume?
Yeah.
Checking in on you?
Yeah. They would check on me, you know, before they knew what was going on, you know, just with the arm, seeing what's happening. So, and then I called Monty after, I talked with Polis, and I was like, I know you guys are going to keep this a secret, but I feel like there's certain people that should know, you know? And so I didn't want to, have him blindsided or hear it from somebody else. So I called him and I told him, you can tell the guys, I don't, I'm not, the stigma's there. It's still there, but, but I'm getting through it, and it does not bother me anymore. Like, you got to tell the story. You got to get it out there. And that's definitely something that I have seen since I've been out of treatment. I probably spoke with over 30 people, or maybe more, different people. And the conversation is always the same. And I'm going to tell my story, what I was experiencing, and every one of them, maybe 2 or 3 that didn't engage with me. Every one of them have had these symptoms, and they're like, I didn't know what that was. Or, have you ever had this? And they're asking me a question. I'm like, yeah. It's so widespread. It's not even funny. The more you talk to people. So the more I talk, but the better I feel. But it's also discouraging to hear how many people that don't show it and are hiding it.
Yeah.
It's and going through that process up there, I got to tell you, and knowing who I was leading up to needing treatment, I could see it on people's faces now. I could read it. It's you can't deal with this on your own.
Right.
It's impossible.
Yeah.
You're not going to do it. You're not going to get through it.
Yeah.
You got to ask for help.
Did anybody at the firehouse notice anything prior to you going off for comp? Bring it up?
No, not that I know of. And I do think that I kept it under wraps at work pretty good.
Yeah.
I think everybody here paid for it, at home. But at work, I'm pretty sure that I just shut that down like we do, just like everything else. You put the walls up and you just get through it.
Yeah.
So I don't think they would have seen anything different.
Yeah. Going to your treatment, the Resiliency Company, you touched on a couple of things that they do there. Just seeing if you can. One was neurofield.
Yes.
Okay, what is that?
So they're it's a cap, and it's got these lack of a better, like, noise generators, if you will, or something like that. So they transmit. I think it's a low frequency, and so you wear it on your head, and it basically scrambles up those neurons, because they have been doing the same thing for a while now, and they want to disrupt that. So when you go into neurofield, maybe they can go back to where they should be going, and not firing off the amygdala and that's just doing adrenaline dumps all day. So that's what that does. And then you put it on your gut for a little bit, and you actually feel like you feel a little, almost like a buzz, not like you've lost your balance or anything, but it's weird when it's on your head. You can actually feel it. And then over when you put it on your gut, it's maybe like 10 minutes. You just sit there, and I mean, for me, my gut starts turning, and not like I'm nauseous, but it's moving around and doing stuff. And so they are, what they're educating on us is the connection between the stomach and the brain, and how those things both need to be in sync. And so you start off with that. And so while those things are all disrupted, that's when you go into neuro feedback. They start you off with a game. It's extremely frustrating. There's no winning. And so it's, as much as you're trying, like I'm tensed up trying to get this thing to fly, and I can't get it to fly. But they basically put a band on your forehead. You've got earphones on. You've got a TV in front of you. You're sitting in a chair. And this game is, they want to see if you're going to activate your frontal lobe, so your left, right, center. And what that headband is reading if you're getting blood flow up there or not. And so as you are trying to focus and get this, whatever the icon is, to fly, when you get it to, start activating and going up, you're actually using some of those areas that I previously weren't using. And so that was a struggle for me in the beginning to get this thing to even move. And we get through it. So they start you off with that. That's kind of like your daily number that you're going to get. And then from there, they take all that stuff off. You decide what you want to watch. Netflix, whatever you want. 2 hours. You got 2 hours. So I did, I don't know, Band of Brothers and comedians and some other stuff. But they put the electrodes in certain areas on your head, depending on what they're going to activate or stimulate. And then they run certain protocols. And they're all different protocols that they're running through that period of time. When I first went in there, it was so bizarre because my body was just reacting to everything. Blood pressure was still, like, I wasn't able to control it at that point. It was lower, but I'm on like max dose of blood pressure medicine, and I am still getting it up to like 160, And so some of these protocols that they'd run, I'd feel my neck and I'd feel it in my head and in my chest. I'm like, how are they, like, what is going on? So I'd let them know, and they'd change the protocol, and it would just stop. It would stop. I would stop having all the high blood pressure. It would immediately stop. So there's sleep protocols. These are the ones that you actually can really notice. And like, I'm struggling to hold my eyes open and watch the show as they're running that protocol.
Really?
It is bizarre stuff. So they run you through all these different protocols while you're in there. And then the ones that aren't working so well, they'll replace with something else. But you got to tell them, like, I didn't feel good after that.
Yeah.
They'll change things up. So that was the feedback, and then of course the session, and then there is, they call it group session, but it's not group therapy. It's, you're going in, you're sitting in a room, and there's one of their staff members is presenting a PowerPoint that's explaining the brain in a way I've never heard it explained. And the other two people that were up there with me at that time, we're just sitting there shaking our heads like, yeah, but that makes sense. Why didn't anybody tell us that? Like, okay, replace negative stuff with positive stuff. Okay, that seems pretty simple. Could have done this a couple of years ago. But just a lot of that. It was very informative. And then in combination with that, we're doing. There was some. Gosh dang it. Forget the name of it, but it's like, there was yoga that there's an hour a day that you can do yoga or meditation, and then there was I forget the name of the process.
ART.
No. It starts with an S. It's like
somatic.
Somatic. Thank you. And I got so much out of that. Like, that was amazing. I've never taken any time to myself to just chill out, and that I was like waking up on the floor with these other people. Like, how long was I asleep for? That was amazing. I felt great during that. And then so that's the group stuff. So there's really not, you talk about it stuff if you want to, but it's more of just hearing the other experiences from other people. Like I had this experience, after this type of treatment, or this is what I do. I do box breathing. That's what really gets, calms me down or whatever. It's just hearing different ways of people dealing with stuff. So that was helpful. In the sessions, yes. When it's one-on-one, there's ART, which is
accelerated resolution therapy.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
Been in the weeds on this a little bit.
And then she does EMDR as well. For me in those sessions, what I've noticed, the light bar thing at that time in the beginning, when we were talking through what that day was going to look like for me, I couldn't get through my day with that light going back and forth and the click, the tappers in my hand. Mm-hmm. I couldn't do both. And so we stopped. And that probably has a lot to do with that, focus. Like I'm not using the front of my brain. Like it was not being used for some time. And so I just went to the tappers, and for me, that takes me to a place, bilateral stimulation. That is amazing for me. So much so that I bought some. And they are, if I feel like I'm ramping up or something like that, man, I put myself in a good place mentally, and I just grab those things for like 10 minutes, and I'm a different person afterwards.
Wow.
Yeah, it's amazing. Those things have allowed me to go in depth on stuff that I wasn't able to talk about before, and see things a little bit more in definition, if you will. And so I was kind of scared of them because they do that. And I was like, I don't want to open up the big vault. I think that one's still shut, and, but they've been great. So, so that's a part of that one-on-one session that you can get out of it. And they're good at it, what they do. They're not just shooting from the hip here. So they know what they're doing. And every time I come out of that session, there would be a weight that's been taken off my shoulders. And I'd notice every day coming out of treatment, walking across the street to the hotel, I was floating at some point. There was no tension in my body. I wasn't, I had some clarity, I felt good. It was just peaceful. Having some peace in your life was something that I had lost for a while. And so that was good. That was really good. And I just continued to notice that as time went on.
Had you done EMDR with Melissa at all?
I had. And brain spotting. I didn't care for brain spotting. It actually brought up some other stuff, some other calls from, weren't even on my mind. And so it opened up a couple other doors. I'm like, let's keep those shut. I'm good with that. No, it's healthy to get that stuff out, but it did bring up some stuff that I wasn't aware of, and it took me back a little bit.
Yeah.
So I stopped doing that, and we just stuck with EMDR. Yeah.
Good. Did you have a preference between that or ART, or hard to tell?
I like ART. Yeah. And I think for as much as I was getting, with the EMDR, correct me if I'm wrong, but there's headphones involved, right?
It depends. Yeah.
Depends. So we were getting enough of the bilateral stuff in the neurofeedback that I didn't want to, like, my brain was so tired. It's exhausting to go through that. You're not doing anything, but you come out exhausted.
Yeah.
Like it's challenging your brain and you don't even know it, And so I just stuck with ART while I was up there.
Yeah.
It seemed to be, that's where I felt I would get the biggest response for me.
Yeah. That's great.
Yeah.
Ever any substance issues as you were struggling through this before getting treatment?
Sure. Yeah. Sleeping has been an issue for 5-6 years.
Yeah.
That's, and so, I instead of, cutting off at a reasonable hour where you could go to bed and it's out of your system. That wasn't the case. The more I didn't sleep, the more I drank to try to get that night's sleep. And then knowing that doesn't work, we're seeing that that's not helpful. Like it works short term, and then you're back to hangovers, and you're not helping yourself.
Yeah.
Like it's not helping. You don't see it at the time. I see it now. Like I look back after treatment, and they hit on that subject. They don't go into depth on that. I don't feel the need. I just don't. And sleep's getting better. It's not great. It's broken sleep, and I would say it's probably 4, maybe 5 hours a night. And so when the alcohol wasn't doing it, I switched over and started doing the THC gummies for night, and that had an effect, and that worked. But it took me a lot to get there. I've stayed away from that stuff my entire career in high school. Like I didn't touch this stuff. So, I'm like, that's how desperate I was.
Yeah.
I'm going against stuff that I would have never touched.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I'll try anything. I don't care. Yeah. So the gummies stopped working, right? The edibles. And now I'm, you move your way onto like the drinks, the THC drinks, or the oils or the drops, and you're just like self-medicating just to numb yourself. So honestly, it brought me peace for what it was, because your mind isn't spinning. It's not going through all that crap. So it helped me, but at the same time, I know this isn't. It's not facing it head on at all. Yeah. You're pushing it away. Deal with it later stuff, and obviously that doesn't work. So yeah. So that's basically, that was my jam. Yeah, I mean, that was it. Looking back, it's scary. It's scary. I just not realizing the position that I was in. Yeah, pretty crazy.
Yeah. Well, where are you at nowadays?
I'm doing much better. There's no doubt about that. I'm still, I've got some residual stuff. I got some, I get pretty shaky, which is really weird. It could come out of nowhere, and I just start getting shaky. Where like going up the stairs, I'll hold on to the banister shaky, and then other days there's nothing. It's the most bizarre stuff. Temperature thing, it's getting better. I still have it, where it's this house is in its 70s all the time, and everybody's walking around with blankets and sweatshirts except for me. Like I'm comfortable. Yeah, I don't have intrusive thoughts, but you do have to have a regimented day, and that's what I've found. Like I cannot just let the day go by. There was another book that I was turned on to by Jill at Resiliency, and that was The Miracle Morning. And it's just a different way of running your morning. There's actually a documentary, which I went straight to as soon as I got through like the second page and it said they did a documentary. I'm like, oh yeah, I'll just do that on TV. And so that was so beneficial. And so we get up, 5:30 in the morning, and we get our son in. We go on a walk. We hit the gym in the garage, and then a little chill out moment for myself. Do some meditation type things. You're just trying to. Not good at it at all. It's just taking the time to yourself to just regroup, and that's been beneficial in my day. Yeah. Like I have more energy throughout the day by just doing a couple simple things in the morning. So that's what we've been doing. The focus is still hard. Motivation, not really there. I mean, I see it getting better. It's not a quick fix. It takes a lot for me to start one of the many projects that I have around here and to finish it. Mm-hmm. It takes a lot more than it ever has in the past. And I'm talking little things are massive the way I see them now. And I don't know why, but it is an issue. that I'm still dealing with. Yeah. And then, just again, the arm thing. I'm aware of it, but man, because it is on the forefront of my mind, it is, those are the things that are going to cripple me, just focusing on this and not enjoying life. Like there's so many things that I don't do anymore. I just lost like joy, the stuff that I really enjoyed doing. I just haven't done any of that stuff in 4 or 5 years. So I know I need to get into it. I got to force myself to do that. But they're small wins. Like I see the motivation a little bit. Stupid things. But this morning, I knocked out PT. I had to get another battery for the RV. I did something else. I can't remember. But it was like things that I've been putting off for weeks at this point. Weeks, not the PT, of course, but some of those other things that I had to take care of. And I was just like, I push them off. And not. It's time to just start doing it. So I got to force myself. It's pretty darn easy to sit on a couch all day. It really is.
Yeah.
And I can't do that. It's not good for me. So
yeah.
So that's where I'm at now. I'm in a better place. I'm definitely in a better place.
Are you still seeing Melissa?
I am.
Okay, good.
Yeah, still seeing Melissa. I see Jill every couple weeks.
Clark.
Okay. And then I see, it was Zumwalt, Dr. Zumwalt from down south at First Responder Wellness. I was seeing him via Zoom or whatever, telehealth. And now that switched over. Now that I have a main provider now for the psychologist through work comp. Now I'm seeing him as well. So I've got 3 psychologists that I'm seeing.
Who's the one up here that you're seeing?
Chinko?
Oh, yes. You told me that. Yeah.
I think.
Jeff's guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I saw him for the first time, and I don't think I'm used to talking in front of clinicians. I don't think that's it, but I was extremely comfortable in there. And I don't get that way. I'm kind of standoffish, see where we're at type of deal. And I had no problem opening up. And it was, again, those are wins, for me. Like I'm able to talk about this stuff that I wasn't able to talk about. First time ever meeting this guy, I don't know anything about, and I'm opening up all the doors and letting it out. I'm not ashamed. It's just what it is.
Yeah.
And I was in the beginning. I was definitely ashamed. Like I couldn't control my own thoughts. Like this is bizarre.
Yeah.
So, but now I'm okay with it. Like it needs to be said. And I want people to hear it. Like it's brutal. It's brutal.
Yeah. Anything you would change over your career?
Yeah, I mean, looking back, I would say maybe getting some help a little bit earlier. I didn't recognize it. I still didn't recognize it when Mike pulled me aside. I didn't know where he was going with this. I don't have that. It doesn't affect me, man. I think maybe opening up, Fire Strong, maybe looking at some of the material. I've never even opened it up. I'm guilty of it, but opening it up, see what's out there. And I don't know if it would have changed anything. But I think these videos that you're doing would, you hear somebody talking on the other end that, you respect or you've worked with in the past and you had no idea this is going on and this is their story they're telling you, like, oh my God, no one says anything. Everybody holds it in. And I think the best thing for me is to get it out. And at least it feels that way.
Yeah.
It's not always easy, but it may have helped if I had maybe seeked out some treatment before.
Did anybody talk to you after Jeff's fire to check in and say,
No, in fact, something that also bothers me about that call was We did our debriefing. We were questioned. And this is a couple hours after the incident. And they said they'd come back in a couple days and interview us again because you're going to remember so much more. They never did. And the individual that was going to do that report did not do that report. And another member in safety did that. And you read through that, and it sounds like I pushed him in the hole. Like, it is, yeah, bullshit. So,
Really?
yeah. So, I mean, you got to come back through and you got to interview these guys again. Like, there's, as we all know, like, there's the stuff you remember immediately, and then you're like, oh yeah, well, this happened and this happened. Yeah, I do remember that. You're going to get more information. That is an incomplete report that went out to the world. Yeah. Yep.
Wow. Anything else you want to add? Been going for an hour, so.
Add? Man, I just wouldn't. You start feeling different. I mean, that's the kicker for me. Like, I didn't put this puzzle together. Like, somebody else had to do it for me. And looking back, it's obvious, it's glaring. But you start seeing some changes. You need to write that down. You got to acknowledge it, but you got to definitely write that down. Like, what was that feeling? Like, how often are you having that feeling? It's not going to go away. It's only going to get worse, and it might be blended in with some other stuff, and you actually lose sight that you're even having those issues anymore because this one is way bigger now. You've got to reach out to somebody, a friend or whatever. You got to tell somebody that can help you, and that's important too. Like, who is out there that's able to help you, that you would trust, and I think this has changed my perspective of the peer support program. It really has. Like, everybody I've engaged with since has been amazing. So to reach out, talk to somebody, just talking about it may free some stuff up. Yeah, I think you're going to be surprised about what you hear from the other people that you tell what you're experiencing, because I guarantee you the majority of our departments probably experiencing something regarding incidents or trauma. Sure of it.
Yeah, I agree. Well, I appreciate you doing this. Mm-hmm. You're easily you're easily one of the most respected guys at the fire department, firefighters. You probably don't like hearing that. You probably, but you are. And I don't even think you and I have ever worked a full shift together, maybe on a medic years and years ago.
Yeah.
But I mean, I've always respected the work you've done and the training you've done. In fact, I think I asked you to do this 2 years ago. So this should tell everybody how hard it is to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you told me
a while ago.
You told me, nope, not doing that. I was like, all right, man, I'm not going to push. That's fine.
No, I'm glad you did. I'm glad you asked, and I'm glad it was still on the table, because it's worth seeing the other side, for these people that are in a dark place.
Yeah.
You got to see the position that you're in and what it can look like on the other side, because that is huge. If you lose perspective of who you were or where you need to be healthy, it's not going to be good.
Yeah.
It's just not.
Yeah. It seems to sneak up on people.
Oh man. Yeah. Very much so. I mean, well put. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was for me, but I guarantee you it wasn't for my wife. You know what I mean? They saw this stuff coming. They just didn't know how to categorize it.
Yeah.
Like, what is it?
Yeah.
What is it? So, yeah. No, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you doing this. That's all I got, man. I really appreciate you doing this.
Absolutely.
Cool.
Absolutely.